Okay, let's take you across.
So
there we go.
Facebook, so here's the status on it. If people are wondering,
yep, it's up on the screen.
All right, we've let about I think about 100 people into it so far. I've just sort of been going through and all the people over the last couple months who've been telling me they'd love to test it. We've been inviting them in batches, and I'll let some more people in today. And next week, Monday, I'm actually thinking, if Jack gives me the go-ahead, that I'm going to, and you've heard it here first, send a message to everyone on the newsletter list, giving you all the link. So to potentially, that's whatever that is, 15, 16,000 people subscribe to the newsletter. So if you have subscribed to the newsletter, and I predict that most people in the channel have, but if you haven't, sign up, because Monday we're probably going to let you all into the Facebook beta.
Now, just to confirm with the Facebook version of the game, it is just another version of the game. It's not modified. It's not changed for Facebook things. It's not going to be asking you to message your friends, give me another life and all that kind of stuff.
None of that nonsense. It's a game that you've come to expect. The art on screen that Addie's looking right now, the doors on the side, that's actually placeholder. I think I actually sent you the image of what it's actually going to look like.
Yeah, would you like me to put that up?
If you want to, sure. I mean, this was like placeholder.
There we go. That's on the screen. So what you're looking at right now, guys, is not live. That's an image that Susan sent me. That's what the final version will probably, subject to change, look like. Which looks very similar to me. As they just they've changed the windows.
It's just more polished. The sides of it, exactly. Yeah, no stupid energy system, none of that, nonsense. And the main issue people have been having is that currently it anticipates a pretty big monitor and high resolution. So we're working on being able to scale that down for smaller computer screens and so forth.
I was going to ask about that. I mean, supposing, because now you're on Facebook. I mean, the awesome thing about being on Facebook is that you don't have to have one of those devices, do you? You can actually play it now on you can play it on PC, you could play it on Windows 8, you could play it on a Mac, you could play it on even an iPhone. But so what happens if I go on to say like a phone device and load up Facebook? Will I now be able to play, or will it reject it?
I don't think iOS allows you to do that. I think it's like I think they last I heard, I think they still block Flash or something. I don't think you can.
Oh, do they?
And Android, I tried it at some point and it wasn't working, but I'm not sure if that's because we have to turn something. I have to check. It's certainly a fair enough question that it might be able to work, but I'm not sure.
And so what happens when people do have slightly smaller laptop screens? Is it still working but just quite big, fills more of the screen?
People have to scroll down and up a little bit. Like, they can't see the whole screen at once. So we're having to...
They must have very small resolutions.
That's kind of what I think too. I don't think of my monitor as being... I have a laptop monitor and it looks perfect on my screen. But there is like an easy... Well, ostensibly easy little tool that Facebook has that optimizes it on the fly to the monitor. So
okay. So you can just plug into their... Yeah,
I mean, Seed have never done PC games before, so it's a little, or Facebook games or anything, so it's just a little bit new to them. So there's a bit of wonkiness that we're trying to address. Like if you go into the store, you have to hold down the mouse and drag up and down, which is more like what you would do with your finger on a tablet, obviously. So when you put in arrows there, so there's just some little bits and pieces that are just relics from tablet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to have to tweak the interface a little bit. I've just noticed it's still got that thing where when you click on a gem, you then grab the bottom of the gem. Is that? I think some people actually were talking about that earlier in the chat.
Is that's on the list to be changed? That's also.
I mean, is that even? Or is it broke? Is that broken, or is that just a choice?
Because on the tablet, if your finger had you like straight over the center of the gem, you wouldn't see the little meter. It was blocking. So we adjusted it so that you were tapping a bit below that, so that you could see the meter above the gem. So it just hasn't been adjusted. That's an easy fix, and they know that they have to do that.
So for people in the beta at the moment, I've just got myself to the main menu here. What's available? What's not available? I can see the fan area is locked up tight. I assume the store is now bound.
Yeah, you can't make any in-app purchases right now because we were worried that people might not understand that. Well, a few things, but mainly because we were worried people wouldn't understand that this is just a beta and your progress is going to be lost once the actual version goes live, which is a separate link. So we didn't want people making purchases on something they couldn't keep.
But I can unlock characters, I can make teams, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, everything else works, just nothing.
If people are in the beta and they unlock characters, I assume they would potentially then lose them though before when it goes live, or not necessarily.
That's what I mean. There's a whole separate link. We have like 2 different versions of it. There's a released version and there's a beta version. So this is the beta version.
Okay, guys. Do you want to? Are you still accepting applications, or are you just going to go straight for this kind of bigger release?
If people want to do it, you can send me an email at support. Just put Facebook beta test in the subject, and I'll add it onto the list that we have. And so it's possible you'll get to play before Monday. If that's the case, I do want to keep adding more people into it. So.
And how has the feedback been?
It's been really positive, which has been great. I mean, most of the feedback has been anticipated. It's been those same few things that either they want this. My little boy is speaking. Sorry, the whispering to me. The people who are wanting the game just be smaller so they don't have to scroll up and down. People who are confused about scrolling in the store, those few little niggly things. But there hasn't been much else. Mostly people seem to be, anyway, excited that it's a very similar experience to the tablet, so it's what they expected, and it's polished and pretty and working fine and not, crashing and things like that. So far so good. Like, I think we're in good shape. I do want to get those few things fixed before it goes fully live, but I think we're in good shape.
I was surprised that and pleased that actually using a mouse rather than your finger isn't as, I thought it would be really quite clunky, and I think I do still slightly prefer the finger, but it's massive. It's absolutely playable, and you can. There was actually some people in the chat earlier saying that they're actually a lot faster with the mouse than they are with their fingers, and sometimes the game doesn't always keep up because they can actually be so faster. So it's just a lovely way of giving people choice. If you prefer using a finger, you can on a tablet, or and now you can use a mouse as well if you prefer. One big advantage of the mouse is that you can, because your finger isn't in the way, you can see the board a lot easier as you whiz around, which is quite cool.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I agree. It works a lot better than I expected it to, kind of, the first time I tried it out.
Which is good. And obviously I'm playing on a kind of HD monitor here, but I think the game looks really, really good as well. The art looks vibrant. The colors are radiant, and it looks really, really good. I do agree that the borders, would be nice to get them looking a bit more toned, but the artwork looks lovely. So obviously, I'm just going to annoy you here completely, but saying, will there ever be a full-on PC version, or do you think this actually covers those bases by allowing people?
No, there may well be. That's definitely something that we've talked about doing, is putting it on Steam.
Because if you were able to go on a full PC version, you could really take advantage of the full HD screen and really, because the artwork in the game is gorgeous, and you could really blow that up large on an HD monitor. But these are questions and conundrums for another time. Steam we've definitely thought about doing. We've talked about Xbox, we've talked about PlayStation, all those things. It's definitely something we keep looking at. At the moment, we're sort of in the midst of doing some sort of handset-specific deals, so that we'll have some announcements coming there soon about, like, sort of preloads onto devices and things like that. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. Looking at an opportunity now to get the game out in Japan, which we haven't done yet.
Okay, now guys, I'm just going to clear the questions. Sorry if you asked anything vital. I'm going to clear the questions. If you have any questions specifically about the Facebook version, just !question and then space and then put your question after it, and I will try and I'll put those questions to Susan. So questions just about the Facebook version, if you have them, stick them up to me now. If it's not a question about Facebook version, then I am going to ignore you. So stick those up. All right. Okay, is it okay if I come back across to my iPad?
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like me to show?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because there isn't all that much to show, just because it is the same game. But that's a good thing.
Yes,
that's a good thing. So you haven't got to worry about adjusting your stale and play. But like you said before, though, your save game will not cross over.
No,
is that right?
It's something we're looking at doing down the road. But Facebook uses its own cloud saving system.
But you can, of course, your friends that have been asking to play it for ages, or that friend that's a Whovian but hasn't got an iPad or an Android, you can now say to them, you can now play it, because in theory, if you've got any kind of PC, you'll be able to get access to Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay, let's have a look. Sambot has said, will you change the Facebook promo code entry to support paste and tab?
You know, it's something we're still working on generally. I think I mentioned on a previous show that I think it's Android. Some browsers or email clients will let you click the code and enter it straight into the game. If you put DW:// and then the code. So it's something we're still working on. The problem is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Potentially on Facebook. I mean, the codes will work on all platforms. So and they already do. If Facebook were live and released, the codes that we just gave out today would work. So it'll support everything. They won't be specific platform. But yeah, we'll keep looking at something like that. It's really just a matter of only having so many resources with so many other things coming.
Now, a few people have just asked about, will the Facebook version link to the tablet version? Will it connect to cloud, etc., etc., etc.? So I think we've already answered that. The answer is more or less no. Will the Facebook version have its own cloud?
It will, yes. Yes.
Okay. So it has its own cloud, but it doesn't link to the other versions.
Correct.
Let me just see what other questions.
If we do, I would say the first thing I would see changing down the road, if it makes sense, will be to add Google Cloud support so that you could link up your Android game with your Facebook game.
Liz Cat asks, who was one of our winners earlier, will the fan area be unlocked for beta users to make sure that all works properly? Is that a sneaky way of saying, can I have free stuff before it opens, please?
It's not currently, and I don't know if we can do it. Usually it unlocks through in-app purchases, so I don't know if there's an elegant way of doing that. So probably not.
Now, I was once, years ago now, I was in the beta for Little Big Planet on PlayStation, and I know this is normally the point where you go, oh yeah, I made that.
I did not.
But they gave it. I
know people.
You did not make that?
I know people who made
My
that.
goodness.
Oh,
do you?
Yes.
They gave out a little. It was a little vest. If you were a beta tester, they gave you this little like workman's vest as like a special thank you prize. Is there going to be a way that you could, is there like a special costume or something you could dish out to the beta testers, or is there or anything like that?
The problem is I don't know if there's going to be an easy way for us to track that. Like I don't know. You know what I mean? We don't really have a setup system. I email people. Maybe they do it. Maybe they don't. And then on Monday, it's going to be potentially like 15,000 other people, to the newsletter. So it'd be really hard to track. I would love to do something like that, but I don't really know a way to do it that wouldn't be a real pain in the you know what.
Indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
But it would be cool. Think on it, though, because that would be...
I would love to
maybe
do something like that.
Maybe like a Matt Smith doctor with like a learner license plate stapled to his chest, or like or you know how, because the costumes aren't just costumes as well, they're also poses. So maybe you could have not poses and adiposes, but like the position they're standing in. So you can have like one of them fixing something. It's like a kind of, as a costume. I don't think. Just looking through the here's a good question. If I have a one-time use code, would I be able to use it on both my Facebook and my phone? So, say for example, one of our winners tonight, would they be able to use that code twice?
I don't think.
Basically,
I don't believe so. I think once it's used, it's used.
Because it would log into the same code server, wouldn't
Correct,
it?
Yes.
But any of the codes that we do on the live show, in particular, when it's kind of like, there's 1,000 of these, or this code stops working tomorrow, they would work.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, Calaluna says, if you have the fan area already, will that then be unlocked on the Facebook version as well? My guess would be no, but do you want to confirm that?
No, yeah, that would be just like if you had an Android phone and an iOS phone, it wouldn't be the same on both.
Okay, so they are completely separate accounts. That is for all of these kind of purposes. And I think TARDIS has said, will it work on? Will it just work on regular PCs, or should it work on Chromebook? If it has a Flash player, I imagine it would work. Would that be your interpretation?
Yeah, so anything that typically supports Facebook games would work.
Okay, and that seems to be all of the questions that aren't repetitions of what before. Actually, Mr. Joe says, we play against other people on Facebook. Will it ever be multiplayer? That's a big question.
That's a big question. Yeah.
That's a big question.
Well, the problem is there's no logical way to do it, right? You're not going to have PvP. BBC is never going to go for that. And so the best you could maybe hope for would be some sort of cooperative play, and I don't know how that would work on Jugboard.
There'd be a lot of server issues. How do you play? How do you connect?
That's a different game. That's maybe our next game. Maybe with an IP that makes more sense for PvP. Stay close.